That's amplification. And it is repeatedly sounding inside of my apartment. And that is, again, in sync with my awakening in the middle of the night and my documentation that's occurring inside of a private space, outside of the physical presence of demons who are stalking in a helicopter, including 24 hours a day. And it is also coexisting with what is engineered light that's inside of my apartment. It's 1:52 in the morning, and the demon-possessed agency, the Los Angeles Police Department, are committing 24 hours to keeping me under surveillance. And they also go out of the way as the demon possession inspires them. Okay, this is what demons do. They are hostile, not only to the Lord Jesus Christ and his children, but they are also hostile to your documenting and exposing them. And even where the very serious results shall be publishing the evidence on the world news, literally naming criminals by very specifically, such as Dominic Choi, and relieving people from their duties, prosecuting the people of the state who are engaging in this criminal system with them, and the entity continues to engage in such egregious criminal activity, which has an effect on every single last person in the same environment, and the entirety of the state of California that's going to be prosecuted for federal group stalking and monitoring, which is the significance of sounding amplified helicopter activity, and you do not see anybody in the environment. And I have consistently shown my uncanny ability. No, it's not an uncanny ability. It's not a matter of being clairvoyant. It's the entity that is targeting through the audible activity, that is through the noise that is being amplified, which is demonic. And it's also occurring 24 hours a day, which is, again, harassment as an entity that's relevant to what is terrorism, and it's demonic. This demonic activity is never taking a rest, never taking a nap. Neither are the demon possessed that live at Alvarado Gardens. That's also why engineered light is on my ceiling right now, and inside of my bedrooms in this apartment. And I'm going to show you that light activity as well. I want to speak to what is, again, an unreasonable nuisance on its face, where the demons are maintaining presence at a great distance and still equally targeting with the audible activity and presence. The demons that are sleeping and living at the venue are monitoring with the demons that are hiding from a distance and amplifying the noise with which they are stalking in a helicopter. Okay. And it is, again, 1:54 in the morning, and there's no helicopter in sight. The demons are hiding behind the buildings, and you already know that they're stalking. That's why I have lists and lists and lists of the ongoing times where they are flying directly over my head, over my office, over my apartment. As you've seen them do so for 47 minutes straight, you've seen them fly in circles, exhibiting their demon possession to you. So I want to make sure that you see, this is engineered light that's appearing on the wall right here. Okay, this is adjacent to the window. This is not sunlight. The trajectory of this light is speaking to, this is my shadow that's appearing on the side. And this is another shadow. I don't think you can see it, because it doesn't always pick up very well on the camera, on the video camera, but on the camera when I take still images, it shows up. This is impossible light, though. The street lamp out here is not going to create light activity that's going to appear on the adjacent wall. And again, the entity is engaging in what is touching surfaces with what is engineered light. This is impossible light activity. Light that's coming from street lamps outside does not appear on a third floor, creating your shadow above you, creating light activity adjacent to you, creating the shape of the window. You're looking at engineered light. Pay attention to the same pattern. The entirety of the shape of the window is appearing on the wall adjacent to me. And this is coming through what is the, so you can see, I am touching the window. You see my shadow here? I'm touching this window here. The shape of this entire window is appearing adjacent to me on this side wall. That's impossible light activity. That's coexisting with what is the amplification of that which it is impossible that I would be able to hear. And it is certainly impossible that it would be something that's coming through closed windows, closed doors, in addition to what is impossible to this placement of engineered light. It is as equally impossible that the sun rises and sets while I'm inside of this same apartment, but that's exactly what I've documented. And it is impossible that Dominic Choi is ignorant about the ongoing surveillance, which is criminal and it's demonic, that the men and women of the Los Angeles Police Department are engaging in. And that is exactly why he is being described in the terms that he's being described in. Not only is he a demon-possessed criminal who is engaged in and is knowledgeable about what is state surveillance that's underway by the Los Angeles Police Department, that is in concert, conducted in concert with the people of the state who are living in an engineered environment, an unnatural environment. A scientific impossibility is the environment that surrounds me, including the audible activity of those demons flying in helicopters 24 hours a day, including at 1:57 in the morning on May 30th, 2024. So I want to make sure that I document that. And this is indeed audible activity that's being amplified through what is windows that are closed. My window is closed. There's no helicopter that's flying anywhere near that you can see, but yet the entity is, while I'm inside of my apartment documenting, even at 1:57 in the morning, the demons are making themselves heard, which is a communication of a threat, by the way, by a demon, and also the identification of that demon, one that's stalking in a helicopter, that's readily identifiable as the corrupt law enforcement agency. The knowledge of that and the fact that you're documenting, and the entity that is monitoring you knows that you're documenting, that is also reasonably construed as a threat committed by that public entity that is indeed stalking you, including at what is 2:00 in the morning in the engineered light. Understand how this is terrorism. This is also the same sex offense where you're looking at the engineered light that's setting in alignment to my bedroom while I'm inside at the same property, by the way, at 11:00 in the morning. That is no iteration of the natural environment that the sun would be over my head at 11:00 in the morning, standing in this middle of this parking lot, and standing inside of my bedroom at facing the same parking lot, and 7:00 in the evening, 6:00 in the evening, that I would still see the sun, that the sun would be in any position where I would see it, and that any light activity, any sunlight would ever appear above my head, which is what you saw yesterday, that any light activity would be flashing inside of my bedroom. That is speaking to the pattern of conduct, and the pattern of conduct is occurring 24 hours a day. That is a sex offense, by the way, committed by the state, which is what the corrupt law enforcement agencies represent, where the system of federal group stalking and monitoring is underway. And a sex offense is occurring in concert with the people of the state who are maintaining 24-hour presence in that engineered environment on behalf of that state, whose presence represents state action. And the state action is occurring while the entity that are the people of the state vicariously acting on behalf of that state are maintaining presence as well. So I just want to make sure I break that down legally with regard to my documentation of helicopter activity that's amplified inside of my apartment while demons are keeping me under surveillance while I'm inside of my private space, which is a sex offense. Okay, it is currently 1:59 a.m. Again, it's May 30th, 2024, and this is P.O.C.